Mass Democrat. I'm your host, Joseph Gochinski. This month's guest is Donald Ashe. Donald is the Register of Deeds in Hampden County. Donald, welcome to the show.
Joe, thank you very much for inviting me here this afternoon and come up to your fair city and to the beautiful Franklin County. On the way up, the scenery was beautiful. You could see the trees starting to change, and it's really nice up here and beautiful. Thank you very much.
It's a great time of year. Thank you so much for making the trip up. And Donald, I want to jump right into the questions. We got a lot to cover today. So, I've done the show a long time. We were talking about this before we started taping, and I've actually never talked about the Registry of Deeds. I'm the Register of Deeds here in Franklin County. But Donald, you're an experienced register. I wanted you to tell everybody about the Registry of Deeds, what it does, and what is your job.
Well, my job as Register of Hampden County is the same as your job. You know, a lot of people think that the Registry of Deeds is just a place to go in and record a deed or a mortgage or a discharge of a mortgage or, God forbid, a foreclosure. We do all those things. But in addition to that, we find that we believe that our office is like a history book. Our records go back to 1636, and it shows that, that William Pension purchased from the Agawam Indians the land that we now know as Springfield.
Yes.
But Springfield at that time, when William Pension purchased the land, took in Wilbraham, Longmeadow, East Longmeadow, and many of the other communities that we have in the surrounding areas. So we get genealogists from all over coming in to visit our archives and looking up information, people writing books. We just had a lady in doing a book about black history in Hampden County, and she was using our archives. We received letters from all over the country, from England, people doing their researching roots. And there was a book back some time ago, Roots, and it piqued the interest of an awful lot of people to find out where their ancestors owned property. So we have that, and we have our books go back into the county record books that show all the cases that came before the county commissioners in those days.
Okay.
If somebody was riding a horse on Sunday, they were arrested and punished. And there were a lot of odd little laws, and so there's history at the Registry of Deeds. The railroads, the dams, and the highways. And we took over all that information back in 1998 when we went to the state.
Yes.
And the county commissioners, they went out of business, and they turned everything over to us. And we've done a great job there. We have a girl named Donna Brown who has incorporated all the information to list all the dams in Hampden County.
Okay.
And I believe that we're the first registry in the state to have all the dams listed. And there's a new law now, if you buy a piece of property, you're responsible for that dam.
Yes.
So the old adage, caveat emptor, buyer beware, if you buy a piece of property that has a dam on it, and the state comes and inspects it, you have to repair it.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing the number of small private dams across Massachusetts. I looked into the issue a little bit more in detail, and I was just stunned. You think of a dam, you think of the Holyoke Dam, the Turner's big dams, but there are so many private small dams scattered across Massachusetts.
I think just in Hampden County we have 300 and some odd dams.
Yeah.
And that's an awful lot. And we did receive a call not too long ago and from the state, and now they want to get all our records to put them on there and to save them an awful lot of work. But it's a worthwhile effort on our part to do that because, again, we record deeds and documents, and we record history. And of course, thank God that we have the Torrens system recording, which came from England and Australia, that if we didn't have it, there wouldn't be a lending institution going that would loan anybody any money for a mortgage.
Yes.
Because they want to make sure that that property is clear and it's not a muddy title. And that's basically what they're there for, or we're there for, to let the world know who owns what in each piece of property.
Yeah, that's what I tell people. I said property rights are fundamental to this country, and if you don't have an idea of who owns what parcel, you're in real trouble.
That's
Our
correct.
offices are so important. Yeah. And just to kind of digressing here quick, you have the Indian deed online, correct?
We do, yes.
Oh, okay, because I was poking around the website and I know it's the Indian deed.
Yes, we have the Indian deed, and in my office I have the original copy of the Indian deed.
Okay.
And we also have a lot of students come into our office, and we go out and do our little road trip, And
Yeah,
we
yeah.
bring that, and people are very interested in a lot of the old documents, not only the Indian deed, but back when Hampden County was first founded back in 1636, I'm sorry, in 1812, that you had to get permission from the King of England to buy a piece of property. And in our record books, it'll say the king gave so-and-so permission to buy this property from the Indians or
Wow.
somebody else.
Yep.
So, and we were part of Hampshire County prior to that. But in 1811, the founding fathers of the counties found out it wasn't too much traveling back and forth. There was a great disparity between Northampton and Springfield.
Yes.
They would actually take the records from one city to the next city for 1 year, go back and forth. How they carried it back and forth, I don't know. Whether they had a saddlebag or, or a horse and buggy. But finally they were given permission by the Bay Colony in 1811 to form Hampden County, and it was formed. And Edward Pension, a descendant of William Pension, who purchased Springfield, was the first Register of Deeds in 1812.
Okay, nice, yeah, a little history. And I know Franklin County broke off from Hampshire County as well.
Yes.
Kind of following the same track as Hampden County. So, Donald, I want to talk about you. Tell us about Donald Ashe and how you ended up becoming Registered Deeds in Hampden County.
Well, I was involved in politics as a young boy. I came from a section of Springfield called Hungry Hill.
Yes.
And everybody was involved in politics in some way. You either held a sign for somebody, or as a little kid, you got in the back of the truck, which you can't do anymore,
Yeah.
and yelled out the guy's name and traveled through the neighborhoods. And I think that's basically how and my father was involved in politics. And from there, it just progressed. And then I was the chairman of the Hampden County Democratic Committee.
Okay.
And from there, I became very interested in county government because I thought it was a form of government that not too many people knew anything about. And I thought that if I became Register of Deeds, I could make it more visible, like you. You're on this program and you're showing people what different entities do within your county and other counties. And since I became Register, that has been one of my goals, to go out, have meetings, go out to the senior centers, go out to different organizations and clubs, and tell them what the Registry of Deeds is all about and what services that we provide. The services like the homestead and different things that we can do for them, how they can call our office and use our office. It's not just for title searchers, engineers, and people in the profession. It is for the mom and pop, the retired firemen, that they can come down to our office and use it. They can look up anything they want. As I said earlier, it's an open book to let you know who owns what in each piece of property.
Yep.
You feel like coming down and see what your neighbor paid for his property, come on down.
Yeah, it's there. It's all there. Donald, I've talked shop a little here. I'm going to talk about electronic recording. A number of registries across the Commonwealth have instituted it. I know Hampden County is doing it. I think some people are confused about electronic recording. We scan every document, and that's obviously electronic. There's a digital copy of a document. But what is electronic recording? I wanted you to talk
Well, when
about.
I first became Register in 1983, the typewriters were so old, I couldn't get a maintenance contract. They had a cigar box for a cash register. And we're the 8th largest registry in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. So really, I had no place to go but up.
Yeah.
And we kept up with all the modern terms that came along, one of them being the electronic recording. But prior to that, we did the scanning, and we took step by step. Now, electronic recording, we started back 6 years ago. We took in the first electronic recording in the Northeast back 6 years ago.
Okay.
So we've been progressing since then. And 3 years ago, we were all set to go, but we were told to hold up until all the rest of the registries started to catch up.
Okay.
So we've been taking in documents for 3 years now, not only discharge of mortgages, but mortgages and any type of mortgage going. We only do that on the unregistered side. We don't do it on the land court side.
Okay.
But the, excuse me, the Electronic recording has saved us so much time and money. We had a staff of 54 people, but because of the budget cuts, we're down to about 36 people now. And we give the document back immediately, so that cut our stamp money down to about 2/3. Doing the electronic recording speeds up the process immensely. When they come in and record something, we give the document right back. When they send in the document electronically, and we have probably just from one of the vendors 200 customers.
Wow.
So we've come an awful long way. And anything new that comes along, we try to adapt it into our system.
Yes. It's funny you mentioned typewriter because I know at the Franklin Registry we still have one typewriter, and I've used it on occasion myself. It's good for forms. It's amazing how some of that old technology, you still need one typewriter.
We still have a typewriter for those purposes,
I
for
chuckled to myself
a different form.
Yeah, when you mention it. So besides electronic recording, is there anything coming down the pike, so to speak, that you think will change registries in the next 10 or 20 years?
Well, since I started, things have changed immensely. Do I think things are going to change? Yes. Electronically, an awful lot of new things are coming along. We also have a kiosk when you walk into the Registry of Deeds. We also have a screen.
Yes.
And I've noticed a lot of other registries have picked that up. And the screen means that if you're standing in line waiting to record something, you can see everything that's going on up there, who's recording in front of you. So if somebody puts a lien on a property that you're going to buy, you're notified immediately.
Yes.
So, and then we have the kiosks, which you go in and you punch in, and it gives you a ticket. It calls your name out. You punch in what type of document you're going to record, and you punch in how many documents you're going to record. That, again, speeds up the process. So you get your document back in your hand before you leave.
Great, great. Yeah, they're very efficient and streamlined, and it certainly serves the patrons and the taxpayers of the Commonwealth. That's
Well,
always
we hope so.
Always a positive. Speaking of the Commonwealth, I'm going to kind of shift gears here and talk about, we have to talk politics a little bit. I want to talk about the upcoming elections, and I wanted to get your take on the general mood of the electorate, and particularly Deval Patrick. Do you think he's got a fighting chance to be governor?
Well, the citizens of Massachusetts and throughout the country are very angry. And they're angry at the incumbents, they're angry at the Democrats, they're angry at the Republicans. They're just angry in general.
Yes.
Because nothing's being done, the unemployment is so high. You can see in your registry and my registry all the foreclosures that are coming through.
Yep.
I mean, it's awful. And can it all be blamed on the subprime lenders? No. It's the unemployment, and that's the big thing that's bothering our economy. People can't afford their mortgages, and they're losing them. They're asking people for help. You see these different programs that come down the pike, but then you listen to people, and it's not helping them. So they're going to have to take their frustrations out on people, and you can be thankful, and I can be thankful, we're not on the ballot this year. But
Yes.
we are in a few years down the road. So, and we hope that the economy will turn around by then, but do I think Deval Patrick will be reelected? Probably if it were today, but we still have a little over a month to go, so it's hard to say what's going to happen. You have 3 people running, and you have the Republican and the Democrat neck and neck with the last poll they took, and the independent is way down.
Yeah, that's it's an interesting dynamic with there's 3 big candidates. I know Jill Stein's running